Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I want to discuss a new USCIS medical exam policy that I recently came across through experience by submitting somebody's green card application without the medical examination. So if you've been following my channel for a few years, you know that I used to actually say, you know what, hold off on submitting your medical exam until they schedule your immigration interview. And when you find out about the interview, immediately complete your medical exam so that you can bring it with you to the interview. And the reason for that was that back then, your medical exam, which is signed by a physician, you have to go through effort to get it, and they'll give it to you in a sealed envelope with a date on it. It was only valid for 1 year. And then during the COVID pandemic, they extended the validity of it to 2 years. But unfortunately, some people were still seeing waiting times from start to finish of longer than 2 years. So they paid $300 for a medical exam to submit it with their green card application, like the instructions told you to do. And then over 2 years later, they go to their interview and the USCIS officer says, sorry, you need to pay another $300 for another medical exam because your exam now is over 2 years old. So from that point on, I realized that I might be able to save some clients money by telling them not to complete their medical exam with the beginning of the process. Wait until they're closer to the end of the process, so it's almost guaranteed that their medical exam will not be over 2 years old when they go to the interview. Maybe about a year ago, USCIS started changing up their policies. They would send out these weird emails saying, you need to bring your medical exam to our office, but it wasn't a formal request for evidence. We didn't really know what to make of it. And at the beginning of the process, they would send you a very scarily worded deficiency notice saying your application is deficient because you haven't submitted your medical exam. Some clients would physically go to the USCIS office in accordance to the email and submit their medical exam, but we were having problems with that too because sometimes USCIS would still lose the medical exam. They would end up going to their interview a few months later and the immigration officer would say, I don't have your medical exam. I'm really sorry. I believe you submitted it, but I can't approve your green card without this medical exam. So I would tell people, if you're gonna go and submit it in person, ask your doctor for 2 of them just so you have a backup so you can bring one with you to the immigration interview. But now, everything's actually changed. Now, when we submit a green card application, which I recently did this about a month ago, and 2 weeks later, we immediately got a request for evidence asking for the medical exam. And generally speaking, there are 2 types of requests for evidence that you'll get immediately when you submit your green card application. The first one is for the affidavit of support form. So if you made a mistake on the affidavit of support form, which is very common, or you didn't submit the correct documents from your tax returns, along with the federal schedules, W-2s, and 1099s, you're very likely to get a request for evidence. And that type of request for evidence will delay processing of your employment authorization document. So the longer it takes for you to fix that and respond to the government request, the longer it takes for you to get your work permit and social security card. Now, unfortunately, USCIS appears to be doing this with the medical exams. So anyone who's gonna submit a green card application beginning in December 2023 or later should probably submit their medical exam along with it. And this can create problems for some people, especially if the application ends up getting delayed and takes longer than 2 years to be processed. They'll probably be out of luck and they'll have to pay for another one. But I just wanted to put this out there that if you're going to submit a green card application, you shouldn't hold off on the medical exam. My office will now require a medical exam before we even ship out your green card application, unless you understand that 2 weeks later, you're still gonna have to get your medical exam done and submit it, and it's gonna delay the process. All right, guys, so that brings us to the end of today's video. I think it's really important to stay up to date with all of the USCIS policy changes, especially, as we're entering an election year. And if the president changes after that, you're gonna see a lot of frequent changes. So my channel is a place where you could stay on top of all the recent information, and you could always ask questions. In my most recent video, within a week of posting it, I'll always try to answer your comments. And we have a bit of a community here now where other people will share their experiences in the comments section as well. Anyway, thanks for joining, and I'll see you guys next week for another one.